We're fine. Everybody, wow, this is so great. I love the energy in this room. So we just need a few seconds to finish setting up. Tech person, I'm just trying to play to make sure we have audio. So I'm going to hit play in just one of our clips. Just want to make sure we can hear this. Okay, yeah. Great. Awesome. This is so great. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to be ready in just a few seconds. I definitely see some open seats for the room wranglers, so I know that there's a big line outside, so make sure you cozy up to your neighbor, because we want everybody in here.
Any open seats, though? We have two over here.
Yeah.
Is this sorry, Jubilee?
Oh, it's my umbrella. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Where was two? Two over there. There's seats. And then there's two in the back.
Oh, it's all like smaller room. You guys got the wrong room.
Welcome, everybody!
Hello, WonderCon!
Awesome. So, my name is Chandler, and this is Chris.
Hello, everybody.
We've been hosting the X-Men Fandom panel for the past 5 years, so welcome to the 5th annual. We are so excited to have you. And this year, a show came out called X-Men 97. With the cast that you're about to see, and we cannot wait to do this panel. So
let's get on with the show, y'all.
I'm sure you know this theme. Let's bring out Supervising producer Castorena.
Everybody, please welcome King Agustini as Sunspot. Please welcome to the stage Karliak as Morph.
Now as Jubilee.
as Gambit.
After not least, the legendary Lenore Chou.
Not least, Matthew Waterson as Magneto!
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Matthew, I'm so sorry I jumped the gun on you. How could I? Magneto, your performance of Magneto is amazing.
We'll have to switch your name cards in front of me.
Oh. How choice that Rogue is between Gambit and Magneto.
Oh my!
How did that happen? Oh my gosh. All right, guys, you guys know this show. It has 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Highest rated Marvel project of all time. Highest animated television series of the year, and we are so proud to be here.
Yeah, so let's get on with our questions. First up, I want to just say that the first X-Men comic book was released 60 years ago in 1963. Since then, there's been numerous iterations from the comics to the video games to the cartoons to the live-action films and the television shows. So to each of you, I want to go down the line. What was your earliest memories of the X-Men franchise?
Jake, you're first.
My earliest recollection is the OG Konami game. That's where my love of Storm started, because that power was dope, wiping them out. Colossus doesn't make sense. What is that? Anyways, no, it was that, and then that, obviously turned me on to the OG show, X-Men in '92, and then from there I got into the Cockrum run, and then coincidentally into X Factor first. Then I went backwards, because when I was able to afford to buy comics, then I started with the Jubilee run. So, but yeah, that's my earliest forays.
Well, mine definitely the OG '92. I remember in my mom's kitchen back in Brazil, my hometown, in my hometown called Campinas, and I would watch it in the morning. I think it was after lunch or before lunch, and it was. That's definitely my first recollection. It was such a amazing time, and I'm so happy to be here.
This is crazy. I'm so happy. Thanks. So my earliest recollection of it was, when I was a kid, I loved music more than anything, and I loved, imitating voices, as I'm sure many of us do here. And so it was the theme song that got me hooked originally. Like, it was just, I heard the theme song, and I was like, what is this? This is incredible. And now coming into this with the theme song again, like, this is an incredible moment for me. I'm so happy you guys are here. This is awesome. So the theme song.
My earliest memory is probably just 2 words. Berserker Barrage! I was a big arcade voyeur. I was never good enough with the button mashing to, play them, but I would stand behind people and just watch everybody else kick the crap out of each other in Marvel vs. Capcom and the original X-Men game. And I didn't come to the show until much later. By the time I got home from school and turned on Fox Kids, I was watching the end credits of X-Men so that I could watch the Power Rangers. Both theme songs that are totally lit and written by the same people, so. But yeah, big fan of the movies, became one of those deep dive people on Wikipedia and YouTube once they were invented, just being like, wait, who's that person? Who's Kitty Pryde? Tell me more! So yeah, my X-Men fandom has been sort of a back-end fandom, but it is massive nonetheless.
I remember exactly the first time I ever encountered anything X-Men related. I was watching whatever was on Saturday morning. I had no awareness of X-Men as a thing. It suddenly came on, and this theme song started, and what is this? What is this? And then it started. I'm sorry, I blew out everybody's earphones now. The theme song started, and then the Night of the Sentinels started, and from there, there's nothing about it that's not awesome. So from there, I collected every comic book that I could find and afford as an 8-year-old, whatever I found. But that's been it from there.
I feel like we all have kind of the same answer, but it was the cartoon as a kid, and the Pizza Hut promos, and just going to KB Toys and digging through second-tier characters and being like, I don't want this. Give me Gambit and Wolverine. But yeah, the cartoon, it blew my mind as a kid. I remember I've said this a few times now, where I would throw cards and just hope one of them would go anywhere, but just and I built my brother a Cyclops visor out of brass, and would play the Sega game all the time with the ridiculous music. It's deeply ingrained in me. I remember begging my parents to go to Pizza Hut because of X-Men. So yeah.
Wow.
Can you get a mic?
I think I get a mic. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? show in Toronto named Sounds Interchange in 1992, and I saw a picture of this character who was standing there with an attitude, and she had red hair with a white stripe down the middle, and she had her hand on her hip, and she was saucy. And I had been told they were looking for somebody who had a deep, husky, sexy voice who could do a southern accent. And so I went into the booth and I opened up my mouth and I said, my daddy liked to kill himself when he found out I was a mutant. I remember I had me a boyfriend when I was 13. Had me a boyfriend till I kissed him. Poor boy went into a coma for 3 days. And I heard these voices on the other end of the headphones in Los Angeles screaming like little girls, saying, that's her, that's Rogue, don't let her leave the building. And the rest is history, as they say.
Okay. Okay.
There was a reason originally Lenore was going to be last, because following that is hard. I was actually in boarding school in England when the show came out, so I didn't see it live because I was locked in a large building. So I sort of came to awareness of X-Men by dribs and drabs of comic books that kids had that they brought in from various places. So I didn't ever get anything in order. Everything was out of order, different storylines, different periods, different eras, so I had no idea what was going on ever. It was completely a mismatch. People seemed to be changing sides all the time, and I never really understood it. So it was not actually until I got older and so the movies came out, and then I had some ability to go and look stuff up for myself and read stuff for myself, that it started to make more sense, apart from, well, this looks really cool, and they can do things that are awesome, so I'm going to keep reading it. So I don't have the same story, but mine also is basically me in prison as a child.
All right, Jake, I need to know, this show obviously is super nostalgic for people, but the show feels very fresh and very current, and the topics still feel relevant. So I'm just very curious, how do you guys approach that show? How are you able to create the blend of nostalgia and kind of new storytelling?
Oh, that's an awesome question. Yeah, it absolutely takes a team. Nobody, as you can see, with a bunch of characters, a bunch of artists, it takes a big vision to do it. So before I go any further, if anybody on the team is here, can you guys please stand up or raise your hand or something? Just thank them. That's a big part of it. It's a team thing. Also it goes down into the vision, the Bible, the scripts from day one. From Bo to Mia's initial vision, and just luckily a lot of that of where the sandbox was going to be of the show, that was well decided before I was brought on board. So that was pretty good. But the term fresh but familiar, that's what I think one of the key ingredients of this is, because that's the feedback that we hear from a lot of you guys, which is the point, was how does it feel so in tandem with the OG show, but also still feel relevant as of today? It comes down to everybody working in tandem together to tell the same story, to tell the same show, to make the same show. Understanding core fundamentals of the X-Men, it always has been, always will be, and always should be an allegory for prejudice. When you take that away from the X-Men, it's no longer the X-Men. You can kind of put any sort of superhero team in that, but also the X-Men have a danger room. That's why they're dope. X-Men just I just want to say it. The Avengers just wing that shit. So, understanding we've just grown so much as a society, as people, but also we still have blind spots, and we could always be better, and there's still always so much to learn. There's a reason why the tones and themes that the Leewalds and Larry Houston never really shied away from in the OG show, why they're relevant today. They also didn't muddy it down. yeah, it was wrapped in a Saturday morning cartoon, but they didn't dumb feed it to us. They didn't show. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is one that always comes to mind for me. No dirty man's ever gonna heal my daughter. You gave your daughter eyes, dick. Like, well, because Beast was a mutant, that was. Unbeknownst to me as a kid watching that was my first foray into understanding, oh, that's what prejudice comes down to. So, I think that, unfortunately, that is a thing that just kind of transcends time right now. We could always be better about that. And so, X-Men is an IP that just leans hard into that.
A question, yes, round of applause. The question I have for the voice cast is, I want to learn about what the audition process was like for this show. And what did you do when you learned you got the role, and how did you celebrate? So, Guy, why don't we start with you?
So I actually just learned this weekend that I think I came on board a little bit later. But I auditioned first in 2021. I think it was October. Everything is so secretive with Marvel, obviously, so I had no idea it was X-Men. I think I remember seeing Roberto, but I did not put two and two together. So I auditioned, didn't hear anything, as most of the audition process goes. I just, sent my audition to my agent. And then a few months later, in 2022, I think it was March or April, I get another audition, and had a different name. It said Elijah. But I think it was like the code name was the same, so I was like, I've already auditioned for this, and that had never happened. So I remember the sides, they were like very similar, so I auditioned again, and I completely forgot about it. And 2 months later, because I went back to the emails to like get the timeline right, I got an email from my agent that literally said, "Congratulations, Guy, you are a superhero." And I was like, what? Like, what did I audition for? I had no idea. So I went back to my email. I mean, without even like reading the rest of the email, I just like, what did I audition? What was it? And so he was like, you're gonna be part of X-Men. I was like freaking out. And I remember I was in New York because I was doing another project, and I was staying with a friend of mine, and I didn't know what to do because obviously it's so confidential. And I was so happy, and he's like, what's going on? And I couldn't tell him. Anyway, but yeah, that's how it went down, and I was obviously extremely happy, so proud and so honored to be representing my home country, but also to be becoming part of this incredible family, and this wonderful team. Like Jake said, it's such it's just like it's a teamwork, and I am very, very grateful and extremely blessed.
Kind of similar timeline for me. I auditioned, I think, at the end of, 2021, like in December, somewhere around there. And I remember seeing the initial audition, like it was codenamed and everything. And I didn't know what it was. I got like a couple of the sides, and I looked and I was like, oh, they're talking about like Storm and stuff. I was like, oh, X-Men's coming back, I can't believe it. So I was like, keep it cool, okay. And so I went through and I did the audition, and I sent it out. I think it was like, a month or two later when I found out that I got it. But I was actually in a session for another thing. I was doing a session for the game Starfield. I play a character in that. And I got the email while I was, one Starfield fan over there, great. I was doing a session for that, and I got just an email, like it was 5 minute rec, and like, we're gonna come back at like some water or something. And I looked at my email, and it said that I got it, and I was like, there is nobody here, I don't know what to do, I can't celebrate or scream or do anything, but I just had to keep to myself and like keep going with the session. It was the hardest session I've had to focus after that moment. And then the process of then doing the show and recording it has been just an incredible joy. And I think one of the first people that I got to talk about was my mom and my brother, who have been huge supporters of mine. My brother's the one that I did voices with growing up, and he's supported me my whole life, same with my mom. And then it all kind of coalesced when, at the end of one of our sessions, I can't remember which one, they said, would you mind saying previously on X-Men for us? And I was like, my life, that's it. I can die happy. It was incredible. And I think our amazing director, Meredith, is here somewhere, and when she said that, I thank you for that moment. That was really defining. That's great.
I don't know if it's just my age or my brain, but I don't really remember how all of this went. No, I remember. I remember getting the audition, not really knowing much about the character because a lot of it was coded and and under different names and everything. But I do remember that the character was listed as non-binary from the jump, and I was like, cool, okay. Reading in what thinly veiled backstory I could read, I was like, wow, I really identified with his character and his story. He has a fairly traumatic backstory, but he covers it up with humor. He's very witty. He's the comic relief, and I think not only for me, but just sort of generally for queer people, there is sort of a very identifiable trope of pushing through trauma with humor. So that really resonated with me. I do remember, I don't know if it was a callback or if it was just that I called Meredith in panic, but I do remember getting some direction from Meredith somewhere along the way. And P.S., this is where I'm going to gush for a moment. Everybody has said that one of the greatest voice directors of our time was Andrea Romano, who directed Batman the Animated Series. She's considered the best. Meredith Lane is her successor. I mean, go on IMDb and pack a lunch, but Arcane, Blood of Zeus, Castlevania Nocturne, What If, and now X-Men 97. This is the director of Prestige Animation, and if you've watched anything that has been excellent in adult animation, she's directed it. So. And I just like to make Meredith Lane cry. Thank you, bye. Someone's getting hired again.
And that's how he booked his next role. What was the question? Same auditions coming through all the time through my agency. Thank you, Atlas Talent. It was just another audition, but it was under a code name and a code title, but the audition materials were clearly lines from Night of the Sentinels, so I recognized it immediately. It was like, yeah, you can code name all this all you want. I know exactly what this is. And at the time, they were looking for a voice match, so I was doing that, and then I spent a long time in my home studio booth, just sort of redoing it, listening back, and just being like, okay, does it sound enough like it, and also does it sound enough like with the acting? And then sent that in. I think there were two different excitement moments of as others have said, when you audition in voiceover, you record your things, you send them in. It's like throwing letters down a well. You never hear back there's no feedback. So. For all I knew, they had already cast. I don't know what was going on with it. Then I was actually on a road trip. I had booked a TV show, and I was driving 5 hours north of where I was because I'd been invited to somebody's house for a vacation. I arrived and I was supposed to do table reads for this other show, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get online. I was late and all this stuff, and I also had this email sitting there that said. They'd like you for a test report. It was like, congratulations due to the voice match and your relationship with the show. So I was freaking out there, and then I had to go, do Zoom table reads and get cut off because of rain or whatever. Then months later, I'm on set for this other show. We're in holding, holding's waiting, right? You're sitting around, whatever. So I'm doing this, and I'm flipping through, and I get this email, and then it says it's the offer, and I'm, in holding. Everybody's quiet on their phones, and I go, oh my god! And then everybody's like, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, nothing. Nothing. So I booked a job. I wanted it. Thanks. And then it's been, nonstop freaking out of my good fortune ever since.
we all dealt with the coded files of stuff where it's like 30 different characters, and yeah, they're all called like Jack and like Brian, and I was like, but then there was, it was so weird, and it was like the worst disguise for these names, but it was like, I looked through the files and I was like, this is X-Men, this is X-Men, this is X-Men. My brain is going a million miles an hour, and I was like, is this the show? Are they bringing back the show? You know, just trying to process. And then after I looked through all the files, I was like, I only want to be Gambit. Which I would never recommend anyone ever do, but out of like the 30 characters I got, I was like, I'm only auditioning for Gambit, and that if I don't get Gambit, I don't, I was like, that's it. As much as I'd love to be anyone else, I was still just like, this is my guy. So, I just recorded it over and over again and tried to add improvised things, and I threw in some lines from the show that weren't asked of, and then when they asked me to do the callback, I was like crapping my pants. I was like, oh God, they want me to come in and record, and and then Jake was there and Meredith, and it was so insane. I was like, I hope this doesn't suck, but I was nerding out at you guys, and it was, I don't know what to say other than just freaking out. And when I finally found out, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. For my neighbors, they probably thought like a little bomb went off. It was just like, I was like, I'm Gambit! But you can't tell anyone. So the only one that knew were like my dogs. And and they told everybody. It was wild because it was like summer 2021 for me. It was early in the process, and then I'm still trying to figure it out. As someone who's been a fan for so long, and I've cosplayed as Gambit when I was a kid and stuff. Like, this is weird. I'm still. I don't know if I'll ever absorb it, honestly, but yeah.
I'll absorb it for you.
Yes, thank you.
You guys sharing the microphone, by the way.
Lenore, I know we heard your audition story.
Oh, thank you. Yes, my second audition, because you already heard about my first one, but I did have to audition for the role the second time, as did all of us. But first of all, I gotta say, I'm so happy to meet all these newcomers who are so excited and such fans of the show. It's so nice to have you guys here. And it's fabulous. I'm just totally stoked. We're gonna have so much fun. So the second time around, I had left acting for 12 years to go into politics in Canada. Yeah, and I had been elected 4 times, so 4 continuous terms. Yeah. And my last term was federal. I was state to begin with, like provincial on the state level, like a congresswoman, and then I went federal. And I was working with Prime Minister Trudeau and stuff like that. So, I had just lost my 5th election. So I'd won 4, and then I just lost my last one. And we just had the pandemic, a mass shooting that was awful in my constituency. And my little niece, my sweet little niece, who we had actually adopted from China, Maya, had contracted cancer, and she had just died at the age of 17. Yeah, so I was pretty devastated. And I didn't know what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I was kind of like, okay, universe, what now? What do I need to do? Where do I go? And suddenly I got this message that Disney was trying to find me. And I was like, yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, sure, right? Tell me another one. But I said to the friend who had emailed me, actually, they want to find you. I'm like, okay, well, if it's real, give them my phone number. And Meredith called, our wonderful casting director, and she said, yeah, actually, we'd like you to audition for this new show. I don't know if she told me, I don't think she told me right away what it was. She said, but we'd really like you to audition. Do you mind if we send you like some lines to record and send us back. I was like, sure, no problem. So she sent them to me, and again, it was a character name, like, it was probably like Sally or something like that. It was some weird, yeah, it might have been Maria, that would make more sense. But I read it, I was like, oh, this is Rogue. These are lines that I've already done in other episodes. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do Rogue then. So I did. I recorded it on my phone, and I sent it as an MP3 to Meredith. And then a few weeks later, a month later, something like that, I got word back that the producers wanted to meet with me. So I went on a Zoom call with Meredith and the producers, and we read a couple of scenes, and then they just went, hey, Lenore, we love your work, and we're so fanboying and fangirling out. Will you please do our show? And I'm like, absolutely, sugar. So the universe works in mysterious ways, and my advice is just hang on. Life is a roller coaster. Just hang on.
First thing I want to say is, I'm very disappointed with how many of you told people when you got the role, even if it was friends and family. We're all under NDAs. Very disappointed. Having said that, it was the same process as everybody else. The interesting twist that I had was that our amazing director Jake had actually worked with my beautiful wife Rachel on a previous show, and they had sort of kept in touch. And so I don't know whether you're going to be happy I'm telling this, but when we went and did the callback, as I came out like for a break at one point during it, Rachel, I went into the house from the office, and Rachel said, Jake is texting me that it's going really well. And I said, okay, great. I'm going to try and go back and not cock it up. And apparently, I managed to hold it together enough that we got through it. And yeah, that was sort of the process. It was as everybody had sort of told you, and then doing the callback. And for me, it was interesting because we had clips from the shows when we were voice matching. We had sort of clips from the original, and so there was, as Holly talked about a little bit. Okay, how close can I get to this person? And also, how close can I do without losing the ability to make my own choices? And so that was kind of the dance to do. And then, fortunately, Meredith was wonderful about saying, you're close enough here, now just do what you do. And that sort of helped a lot to be able to sit down and do the thing and have it come out, hopefully, in a way that people liked, which they like me enough to hire me.
All right, guys. Well, we wanted to show you new footage, but of course Disney said no. So we're going to show you. We're going to show you a clip from the recent episode that came out, Fire Made Flesh. You might have seen this on social media, but we want to celebrate these performances of these actors on stage, at least with one clip. So let's pull up the Fire Made Flesh clip.
Oh dear. I think one of us has the wrong floor.
Cyclops, it's like the worst horror movie ever. The whole mansion's possessed.
Yeah, we can never unsee that.
Downstairs, now! What the heck is going on? Haven't you figured it out? We're in hell!
While I share the Sinister's apparent affection for Dante's Inferno, I must ask how he's exerting this much power over our perceptions of reality.
Yes, Jay.
Just a huge shout out. That's an episode directed by one of our episodic directors, Emi Animura. So just give it up for her.
All right, let's get back to Holly. Now, Holly, you obviously are a huge fan of the show. And we have a little photo of you on Halloween. Amazing. And I just want to know, you are Jubilee. What does Jubilee mean to you, and how was she for you growing up?
Oh, yeah. I do have to say that she was not my favorite character that would have been Rogue. Always Rogue. But she was a source of fascination because we'd never seen, at that time in the 90s, we just sort of like glommed on to anybody that we thought was Asian. There was like, oh, that person, there's one. And we thought, meaning myself and my friends on the playground, one of them, we thought Jubilee might be Asian. We weren't sure. And then we also thought Morph might be, because he had black hair, and we don't know. Those characters in the original series kind of look about as Asian as each other, you know? But this was, Pizza Hut VHS era, so if we could skip it off the TV, we got that VHS, and we paused it in the Night of the Sentinels when the Sentinel is like scanning her at the mall, and all this like dossier information comes up, so it's like Jubilation Lee, it says that she's Chinese, and so we were like, oh, it's confirmed, she is! So then there were, when we were playing X-Men on the playground, as you do, there were, you had your people that you always wanted to be, right? Always wanted to be Gambit. I always wanted to be Rogue. And there are friends who sort of definitely always wanted to be Jubilee, and it's the ones who glom onto like this cool teenager who's like sassy and she's got personality and she's so cool, but she's also obviously our entree into our newcomers' eyes into the world. She's been a significant character to a lot of us Southern California Asian American kids.
I'm going to jump over to Matthew. How many of you were blown away by Magneto's speech in the Trial of Magneto? Such a powerful character with so much moral complexity. Can you share some insights into portraying the character?
Yeah, absolutely. He's fascinating because of all of the sort of major villains in comics and in superhero stories and things like that, he's the one who, it is unquestionable that his motivations are good. Like, he's not out for world domination, for his own power, for fortune, just because he has some weird narcissism complex. He is just fighting for the survival of him and the people like him, and he has seen what happens if you keep giving an inch. He's seen what happens if you keep saying, okay, well, we'll allow this, but we will, eventually it'll stop. If we give them this, it'll be okay. He's seen what that happens firsthand more than once. And so, somebody like that who happens to also be so powerful that he can single-handedly protect everybody who he wants to, it's this amazing push and pull of, at any moment he could just decide, I'm going to stop everything and, end the world. I could do this, I could do that, I could destroy everything, I'd pull all the metal out of everything you own and it all falls apart. Like, I could pull every building down. And somebody who has that ability, who has the part of his mind that's saying, you've seen what happens if you don't stop this, stop it, and is yet able to go, okay, maybe my friend is right, maybe there's a way around destroying everything, but you guys need to keep in mind that if you screw up, I'm going to go back to what I was going to do. It's a lot of fun.
Amazing. You guys, I can't believe that we're almost done. I hate this. I know they gave us like the 10-minute warning. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into our next clip. It's our Sentinel fighting clip, which we all love. And I want people that have questions for the cast to come line up. Please start lining up here. We're going to try to take, 5 questions, whatever, to kind of get through it. So if you guys have a question, please start standing up, come up, and let's have the clip.
ever change your heart? Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful and voluntary friendship.
Shout out to storyboard artist Jalen Harden. They storyboarded that sequence. It's a good chance if you see an action scene that you lose your shit over, it's probably boarded by Jalen. So, yeah, I just want to give credit.
Amazing. All right, we're going to get to some audience questions, and we have some gifts from Marvel for you guys, but only for the first 5 people in line. I'm so sorry. They did not give us more. So if you are in the first...
Wow. Magneto.
So come see us at the stage as soon as you ask your question. Are you first, sir? Go ahead, ask your question. Yeah, Jake, you want to take that one?
Would we want to ever play in the sandbox? Of course, but you know.
Oh, the question is, would they do the Spider-Man X-Men crossover?
Look, at the end of the day, you got to talk to Sony about that stuff. They want to. We got to ask them if they want to share their character. It is dicey, but you know, it's always fun to just go back and rewatch stuff, catch things as the season goes on. I don't know. For science reasons, maybe.
Yeah. So thank you for your question. It's been known to go back and watch those crossover episodes of Spider-Man the Animated Series. So go back and do that. Please, your question.
Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Previously on... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong person. Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Fighting over me already. Oh. Previously on X-Men, children.
Previously on X-Men.
All right, go ahead, sir. I'll repeat the question back. The question is, why did Morph push Wolverine out of the way in Night of the Sentinels when he knows Wolverine can heal from the blast? And JP, I guess, can answer this.
Well, as somebody who was alive in the 90s, I guess that's my only qualification. I'm going to chalk it up to that when you have a special friendship like Morph and Wolverine, you don't want your friend to experience pain of any kind. So, and I will say that I in all seriousness, I don't know what direction one would go with Morph and Wolverine, but I will say that I think, in my mind, it's platonic, and I actually think to show a beautiful friendship between a queer person and a straight person is actually really beautiful.
Oh, Gene or Madeline.
Rogue and Gambit.
Okay, so the question. the question is
Magneto.
which two characters are they shipping? Sorry, go ahead, Jake. I talked over you.
Oh, I'm just starting shit. I just said Rogue and Magneto.
Can I fire you? Does it work that way? Wait, no, it doesn't work that way.
No, my real answer would be Fortune Storm.
Anybody else? Yeah, who's your
You
favorite?
guys aren't allowed to answer. No. Yeah, Rogue and Gambit. That's it. Next question.
We don't need to answer.
I'm just going to say Morph and anybody.
Jubilee.
Oh.
Hello.
What's your question, Jubilee?
Your ship.
Jubilee, ask the question, or Jubilee, ask the question.
This Jubilee.
This Jubilee likes to think that she has options.
Wow.
Earn it.
Wow. I'm expecting that. I mean, Roberto, you know. I won't say anything.
He's really hot and really rich. He doesn't need to say anything.
Just don't forget single.
All right, why don't we get your question? Ooh. All right, Jake, give us the previously on X-Men. You do a good Wolverine, I heard.
Oh, shit. Previously on X-Men.
What's your superpower? Mutant power.
Probably healthcare like Wolverine.
I'd say teletransporting and, morphing.
I'm not sure exactly how to categorize it, but I've always been fascinated with how everybody's minds work. So just to see opinions of multiple people around me and get like how, all that stuff, right? Yeah.
Teleportation. I like to travel, period.
This will be my answer from when I was, in third grade. Control over animals, or at least communication with animals. So then every puppy will be my friend.
Lame. I think I would probably want Wolverine's powers just because they're so cool. You can, like, do a bunch of stunts and stuff and just be like, fine.
Well, I think I'd just like to fly. Yeah, I do. I would love to fly. Without a plane.
I have small children, so those people who can duplicate like 8 versions of themselves.
All right, we've got the time for last question, so you are our last question, sir. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got that question already. Yeah, sorry. Question is, well, why not? Yeah. So the question is, what previous TV show would you like to see come back in Disney or Flash Marvel?
Gargoyles.
Anybody else? Any shows you want to see come back?
Double up with hardware.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming down to our X-Men Family Panel.
Everybody, thank you so much. It's been a blast. And give the 3 cheers for our wonderful panelists.